The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of salt. So get ready, nerds, because we're talking creepy, campy space movies on today's podcast. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Today, we're talking about some bonkers B horror movies that have to do with space, and I am joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader has got the biggest chip on his shoulder today. What's up, dude?
I love you, Jude.
I love you too.
You're my favorite. Yeah.
It's a tough week. Like,
This is what happens when we give the baton to her.
Jude is also here.
You know what's funny is like he's been so pissed off about the movies that he had to watch this week, but he is mad at me, but he won't take it out on me. He keeps taking it out on Alex.
Takes it out on me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
It's like,
And
Whatever.
It's really hard to watch. I think also he's feeling some feelings about having cried in the movies yesterday.
oh, yeah, he cried during Top Gun Maverick.
He's like,
Well, we'll talk about
he's
that
like,
later.
I need to be extra angry now.
You have to man up a little bit.
Also, hello.
Not cool.
Kate is still also here. What's up, man?
Well, I actually really enjoyed this week, surprisingly. I thought that all three movies were a lot of fun, and I can't wait to talk about them.
Because you got to watch them with me.
Yeah, I think that makes things better a little bit.
We had Tom come over to watch Critters with us. We had a
Oh,
blast.
nice.
Yeah.
I watch these movies with our patrons.
Yeah, you did watch parties on Discord.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, if you want to do watch parties with us every once in a while, head over to saltynerddiscord.com and jump in and hang out in the watch party area.
It's
And
free.
And it's free. And when V doesn't want to watch something by himself, he tosses it up in Discord.
Yeah. I popped in Clowns with you guys for a little bit.
I started out, I watched Clowns a little bit with you guys, and then I had to go rewatch it myself because I was like, oh, gosh. I can't. All right, the three movies on our list: Critters,
Killer Clown.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and 1986's The Blob.
88.
88? I thought it was 86. Never mind. The Blob, the 80s version.
The Blob!
This is going to be a fun podcast. All right, guys, stay tuned. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk about Critters. Welcome back, everybody. All right, Jude, it is your turn. Take it away.
Hello! I'm going to give you the synopsis of Critters in just a second. But first, I wanted to tell you how you can help us. There are several ways, and most of them are free. So if you are listening to this on the audio-only version, just scroll down, give us a 5-star review, pretty please. And it's a one-time only thing, and we'll never ask you for it again. Only we probably will, but you can skip this part. And if you have time for it and you feel like it, please leave us a comment because we love comments and it just helps us in the algorithm, helps people to find us, helps us get more subscribers, and helps us on our mission to be able to do this full time. If you're watching this on YouTube, just hit the thumbs up button. That's it. It's so fucking easy, you guys. And finally, if you have money, we love money. We do have a Patreon set up for your money. You can join at either the $5 or $30 tier at saltynerdclub.com and join the Patreon and become a Saltine. It gives you 4 extra episodes a month that only club members get, and it gives you access to do fun things with us, like chat with us on Discord, give us your input on what you want us to watch and review, and do the once a month trivia with us that we do every single month for our club members. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time. And now, 1986 Critters, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour 26 minutes. This had a budget of $2 million. What do you think this brought into the box office, Alex?
The budget was $2 million?
$2 million.
Wow.
That was all on the big critter.
Yeah.
That was on Johnny Steele.
Johnny Steele. Was he a real...
Power of the night.
Streets are calling. That song slaps.
It's all on the space special effects.
Oh, that stupid Gumby dude in the freaking wheelchair in the first part of this movie. Oh, the critters escaped. Like, oh my god.
Get the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
All right, first
All
things
right,
first. What do
sorry.
you think the box office was?
Oh, it's got to be like more than $2 million. I'm gonna say it made $10 million.
Okay, Vader.
So just as initial release, right? Because I know all these movies today, for some reason, they all have their cult classic
Yeah.
status. You know, but shit, man, I don't know. This is one of those movies that you always saw in the VHS store that was just always there.
Mm-hmm.
They always had a copy of Critters on the wall. I don't know. What did you say? 10?
Yeah.
I'll go 15.
Somewhere in the middle, $13 million.
You split the speedboat.
Yeah.
Sweet. I don't want to. I got enough speedboats.
I need to switch it up.
Can I get it?
You can have a brand new refrigerator.
I need a camper.
Alex really needs more kitchen stuff.
I need
a
a
washer
RV.
and dryer. Washer and dryer.
Yeah, washer and dryer.
A
Sweet.
brand new washer and dryer.
Okay.
All right, you ready for the synopsis?
Yes, I am.
All right, the Jude's gist. 8 deadly death row inmates hijack a spaceship and make their way to Earth. Hungry from the long journey, they start looking for food. The nearest sustenance is the farm Dee Wallace and Scott Grimes live. The sneaky critters aren't satisfied with the animals on the farm and start looking for humans to feast on, starting with Billy Zane. Meanwhile, intergalactic bounty hunters have been sent after the critters, or Krites, as they're known in the spacefaring world, and give zero fucks about low profiles. They blow up everything in their path toward the Krites, taking the faces of the townsfolk they see and trying them on, to blend in. Ugg seems pretty comfortable in the face of rocker Johnny Steele of Power of the Night musical gold. But his partner can't find a face that likes him till he spies Charlie, the town nut. That face fits him like a glove. The bounty hunters follow the path of carnage through the town toward the farm as Lieutenant Gordon runs for help. His family is on borrowed time back at the farm where the critters have them surrounded. Running into the bounty hunters, he directs them to hurry toward the farm where the critters are getting bigger. Discuss.
I had a surprisingly good time with this movie.
I love this movie. It's so much fun.
I'd never seen it before. It's my first watch.
Like the soundtrack of Power of the Night over and over and over
Over
again.
and
Power of the night.
The one song they had the rights to.
Oh, I think it was made specifically for this
they
movie.
made the song
Yeah,
for the movie.
okay. Yeah, that sounds about
Movies
right.
used to do that in the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, they still kind of do it. They have sometimes somebody will make a
It's
they got
like
Adele. They got Adele and what's her face? That one chick that does
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
So for
She
James
does-
Bond.
Well, James Bond, and I think Billie Eilish did.
I mean,
one for
James
another.
Bond always has an original song.
Yeah.
But I just feel like they were like, this was a complete. They should have just got Bon Jovi to do it.
How dare you?
I don't know. They only had $2 million.
Johnny Steele is a national treasure.
Because
Does he ever make anything else besides
Oh
that?
no, he's not real.
Okay.
He's Bon Jovi.
Okay.
He's John Bon Jovi.
That hair.
Oh, it was epic.
Oh my god.
It was a
I
mane.
could just curl up and fall asleep in it.
It's just all-
Straight up 80s, dude.
Looked like Mufasa.
I mean, it's like.
Which is apt because this is really the tale of, Circle of Life.
when you go to high school in 1986, like I did, all of the girls had that dude's hair. Every single one. I can show you my yearbook pictures, right?
I believe you. Yeah.
Every single one of them. The hot chicks, the ugly chicks, the unpopular chicks, they all had the same haircut. Giant aquaneck bitch flip. What is that? What right? You probably probably had the same haircut.
It was called something like that. Bitch
flip. It was a bitch flip. Yeah. Yeah. And and the
something
girls
like that.
they all had their 3-foot tall giant can of Aquanet in their bedrooms.
Yeah.
That they just stood in front of and inhaled all those noxious fumes.
Yes.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, I think my older sister graduated in like 87 or 89. And I vividly remember, the hair.
I should show you some pictures. I'll put some on Discord. You will lose your shit. It is so funny.
Do you follow the I forget what it's called, but it's 80s something on TikTok, and it's just like some guy who had a video camera in the 80s, like showing up at parties or at the school or at the roller rink, just
with his VHS
camcorder, just like, and that's the whole TikTok.
You sure it's not like a filter or something?
No.
Oh wow.
No, it's like legit 80s footage of just like showing up somewhere and with your camcorder.
Nice.
And he plays like a song over it and everybody's like, bunny ears. and that's it. It's like a minute long of that. And I fucking love it.
That was my world in the 80s.
So
it was girls with big hair and Coors Light.
So it's easy to say
every
that
weekend.
This movie has
That's
a lot
your
of
personality now.
I know, right?
this movie has a lot of nostalgia for you guys then. Because of the 80s.
Yeah. Baby Billy Zane
suppose so.
before he got on the Titanic.
Yeah.
This was actually my first watch.
You've never seen Critters?
It was one of those movies where like when I was growing up, I was like, that looks too scary for me. And so like, I've just never watched it. This was the first time I've watched it.
Speaking of scary, so we watched this, we have an 8-year-old and we had said like, hey, we're going to watch a scary movie tonight. So it's summertime now. So you can watch TV in your bedroom, but you need to stay there. So Tom came over about 7, we ate, and then we started the movie. and my son was upstairs. About 9:30, like a good hour into this movie, I see something out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, "Get back upstairs!" And he like giggles and runs upstairs. So I go up there, thinking he's going to be traumatized.
Yeah, because people get eaten.
Yeah. So I go up. He's laughing hysterically. And I was like, I was so proud. I was like, "Hey, what did you see?" So he told me what he saw, which was like one of the critters and its teeth and everything. And he was like, "And then you said this, and then Matt said this, and then you saw me, and then I had to come upstairs." And I was like, "Okay, well, was it scary?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Attaboy."
Well, you know, when Vader said that, like, there was always like a copy of Critters at the video store. So every time I would go to the video store, my local video store had like this standee of Critters 3 where like they get into the big ball and there's like the Critters face there. And I had seen a clip of the Critters ball rolling over a guy and like leaving a bloody skeleton in its wake because like they just like ate everything on him. And like when I was a kid, that always just kind of like, you know, like freaked me out. And so like I was like, I'm never watching a Critters movie.
I never watched. I think I thought this movie was stupid.
Yeah, it was. It was very stupid. There's nothing scary about this movie.
No, not at all.
These things are Muppets with teeth. That's all it really.
Well, they were based on the Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pure camp. You know, this movie took forever to get going. We were like 40 minutes in before you ever see your first critter, and I think that kind of it initially took me out of this.
Well, it's supposed to. I think they're supposed to go like for the Jaws effect. Like you don't see the shark.
Well, they did it poorly.
It takes off Billy Zane's fingers.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. This movie, it's fun, but it's not good. It's just not good.
I never said it was good.
Yeah, I know.
I said it was fun.
It is fun.
This is one of the staples of like my childhood. This came out in '86. I don't know when I would have seen this. Certainly not in '86. But I remember, like I said, I was raised on USA Up All Night and the Gilbert Godfrey and all of that late night USA stuff. So my first watch was probably on there. But I remember being a teenager and just watching this for the first time and being like, this movie is so cool. That girl is so slutty. I want to be just like her.
Oh yeah,
that dinner scene where she's like, "You said you were going to take me for a ride." Billy Zane's like, I did. He's like, yeah, let's freaking go.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying to impress your dad here.
Yeah, I'm trying to give your dad the impression I'm not going to fuck you.
Yeah.
And she's all like feeling his dick under the table.
I love that scene where he pulls up in his stupid little freaking, I don't know, Pontiac, whatever the hell. And his dad's like, "You can't haul any hay in that thing."
I think it's a Porsche.
Was it a Porsche?
Yeah, because he has the Porsche emblem on his shirt too.
Oh, wow. That's an expensive car.
I didn't like the dad.
You didn't like
No,
that?
I thought he was a kind of.
I thought they were going to kill him.
I was weirdly into the dad the whole movie. Like
he was such a
watching it now as a very grown up person. I was like, farmer dad.
That's
All
a weird,
right.
It's a weird thing.
That's a weird thing.
In his bib overalls, working on a carburetor, saying "boy" all the time. I was into it.
He had a lot of Bruce Campbell energy in the movie.
He did.
I didn't pick that. I just picked up that he was just kind of whoever wrote this just tried to make him as big of a redneck as they possibly could.
Oh no.
And I didn't like it.
The story I got from it was that he handles shit.
Yeah.
Because Dee Wallace lives on this farm with him and she doesn't even know how to shoot a shotgun.
Yeah, and Dee Wallace, everyone's favorite 80s mom.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, she's in everything.
She was coming off of E.T. Like this was her follow-up to E.T.
Yeah. She was.
She's the mom in E.T.?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And she was in Cujo. She's the mom in that. And she was the main lady in The Howling that we talked about.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize her.
She was like a scream queen.
It's kind of weird to me that she didn't know how to shoot a gun because, I mean, that was basically my farm. That's basically for real. I didn't know any moms that didn't know how to shoot a gun.
Well, she figured it out by the end. She went full like freaking mama bear on that place by the end. She was like blowing those things away.
My mom has her own guns.
Yeah.
Okay.
we should also point out that Rick Grimes plays the kid in this. And like he goes on, he's on the Orville now. Scott Grimes, sorry.
He's undead.
Yeah, he's the Walking Dead guy.
Walking Dead. So Scott Grimes. We also have Neelix, who is in this movie as a
that's great. Yeah, I totally didn't realize that.
Deputy Jeff,
the deputy guy who's always trying to hit on the what do they call it? The dispatch lady.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey,
Oh,
you
Sally.
wanna go out for some coffee and donuts later? She's like, no, I never want to go out with you. Shut up.
Who is also Magda from Something About Mary, who was in the movie last week. That we
Oh,
talked
Big
about.
Ass Spider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of legacy people in this
Yeah,
movie.
so Ethan Phillips, who played Neelix on Star Trek Voyager, he's in this movie as the deputy who basically gets killed. And of course, a very early appearance from Billy Zane rocking the ponytail.
Yeah.
Yep, Billy Zane's in this movie.
His little baby tail. It's like his little tadpole tail.
So is this
I was like, the sister's going to Billy Goat that thing.
Another movie reference.
when was the first Back to the Future? Is it 85 or 84?
85.
85. So Billy Zane was already in Back to the Future before this movie came out.
Oh shit! I forgot that he was in that. He's
Yeah.
like a non-speaking role.
No, he's one of Biff Tannen's.
Biff's
Yeah.
goons, yeah.
He is one of Biff's
I
goons.
never knew that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, Billy Zane is one of Biff's goons in all 3 movies.
Wow.
Yep. And even like 1984 spin-off Biff, Billy Zane's one of his guys there. He's got the big cowboy hat
Yeah,
on.
he has one line in,
Yeah.
in Back to the Future
Oh,
Part
coming up in the world.
So I thought it was cool. I always love seeing Billy Zane and
2.
things.
Yeah, so you know what's funny is basically this was New Line Cinema's answer to Gremlins, because Gremlins had come out like I think a year before, and it was like a huge hit. And so the script had actually been kind of bouncing around the town for like 5 years before Gremlins came out, so it kind of predated Gremlins. And the guy who wrote it, his name is Dominic Muir, something like that, Muir.
Mirror.
And he's best known for being the originator of the Evil Bong movies for Full Moon Productions or whatever. But the guy who basically picked this script up and rewrote it and got it made is the director. His name's Stephen Herrick. Do you guys want to guess what movie Stephen Herrick has also been involved in?
Oh, it's probably something famous and amazing.
I have no idea.
I think I already know.
All right, so he directed Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure,
Excellent.
The Three Musketeers with Kiefer Sutherland,
Nice.
Mr. Holland's Opus, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, The Mighty Ducks,
What?
Rock Star starring Mark
Oh,
Wahlberg,
I love that movie.
and Man of the House starring Tommy Lee Jones.
You love Rockstar with
I
Mark
love
Wahlberg?
Rockstar. I've been trying to get us to watch it on the show here for years now.
I love that movie too.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead is surprisingly a good movie,
I love that movie.
and so is Man of the House.
Is that what's the one where they go to like Chicago and they're like climbing on the side of the building?
Don't tell me,
Oh,
or the
Adventures in
Adventures in
Babysitting.
Babysitting.
Oh, okay. So I don't think I've ever seen
Yeah.
Don't Tell Mom
That's
the
with
Babysitter's
Elizabeth
Dead.
Shue. Don't Tell Mom is with Christina Applegate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like that was one of those movies, like it looked really dumb, but then like you watch it and you're like, oh, this movie's actually pretty good.
Mhm.
So it seems like Stephen Herrick has like this long history of like movies that look dumb that end up being pretty good.
I had a surprisingly good time with this movie. It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be, because like going into this, I was like, oh god, critters, it's going to be stupid. But it's campy and funny and it's kind of goofy. But the freaking critters, that scene where the dad goes down into the cellar and he's trying to figure out what's making all that noise down there, and it starts freaking like biting him all over the place. He comes out, he's all bloody and he's got those little spikes in him and stuff. I was like, oh shit, like they're taking themselves seriously with this thing. I for sure thought the dad was going to die.
Wasn't
I kept waiting for him to bite the
How many
dust.
people actually did die?
there are only 3 people who died in the movie.
It's like
Jeff.
the body count's not high.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Jeff, Billy Zane.
the deputy.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Who's the third person?
Jeff.
Oh, is the deputy named
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah.
So that's one.
Yeah.
Who's the other two?
Billy,
Billy
Zane.
Zane.
Billy Zane dies. Yeah. And
Bunch
then
of cows.
didn't somebody at the bar die? There was a bar fight when the bounty hunters
Oh,
went
wait.
I
in.
don't think the bounty hunters killed anyone.
No?
Didn't the critters go in and eat up the bowling alley or something?
Yeah, I thought they did.
No, that was the bounty hunters.
Yeah, the critters weren't at the
Oh,
bowling
that's right. The
alley.
bounty hunters had a higher body count than the critters did, right?
I don't think the bounty hunters actually killed anyone though.
I don't think so.
That we saw.
They have a higher destruction rate.
Yeah. Well, that guy that sent him there was like, he went full Darth Vader on like, no disintegrations. Like, don't freaking blow shit up like you did last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they just go there and freaking blow shit up anyway. It's just goofy.
There was one weird scene where it looked like a critter was fucking a chicken. Did you guys notice that?
I did
It looked
not
like he was
notice that.
fucking a chicken as he was eating the chicken.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was very very.
And I
bizarre.
think that's how you see the eggs at the end.
So there are 2 scenes in this movie that I just absolutely lost it at. The first one is where the family kind of like gets back into the house after being pursued by the critters, and there are two critters on the porch, and one of them turns to the other. And it's like they have weapons. And,
Oh, yeah.
and the one critter is like, so what? And then the door opens and the mom shoots one of them and it explodes, and the other critter's just like, fuck.
Yeah.
The subtitles.
With the subtitles, I lost it at that point. That was hilarious. That was so funny.
What's funny is the guy who was doing the voice of the critters, like he just came up with a kind of mixture of Japanese and German to like make their voices.
Really?
Okay.
So he was just like doing like you know like a weird amalgamation of like the two languages and speaking nonsense, and then they just like subtitled it. It's like fuck.
That's hilarious. That scene was one of my favorite ones. It made me laugh out loud for sure. But I don't know, man. This just isn't really my type of movie.
Well, wait. My second scene.
Yeah, what was your
Oh
other
yeah.
scene?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the second scene is at the end of the movie when basically the critters have won. They're in their spaceship. They're getting ready to take off. And then like just to be mean, they just decide to like blow up the people's house. And they're just like, fuck your house. And like the biggest explosion ever just occurs.
Yeah,
And
they zap the farmhouse and it's like,
Nuclear bomb went off.
And then they just start laughing. And I was just like, they just did that to be mean.
they're
They didn't-
petty bitches.
They were just
Oh yeah.
dicks.
They're
Just dicks.
dickheads.
I fucked your chicken and I blew up your house.
It's a goofy ass movie. I want to know how they did the reverse explosion. Because like later, the bounty hunters like they go off and they were like, all right, well, thanks for your help, guys, and in return for your help, in return for your help, we're gonna fix your house for you. They fly away, and their house like rebuilds itself.
Well, I'm sure that they had a model that they exploded and then they just rewound the footage.
Yeah.
Reversed it.
So the explosion was a model, like Jude said. And then for the rebuilding of the house, they just
Smart.
shot it in reverse of the house being torn down. So
Torn down by what though? There was nothing there.
They just played it backwards.
Yeah, I know they reversed the footage, but I'm saying like, how did they get it to fall down to begin with? Because
They blew it up.
there's no like equipment. There's no explosion in that scene. There's no like fireball
so they
that
had
like
a
sucks back
critter
in.
inside it and then they fed it and it went.
I mean, it was basically a set that was rigged to collapse. So like they had
Okay.
cables and stuff to
Hmm.
like pull it down. And
Don't
things
ask
of that
questions.
nature.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I just want to know what the movie magic was.
Yeah.
How,
They pulled a cord.
Yeah, just
how funny was it that like the sister was so thirsty for Billy Zane and he was just kind of like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. She was real thirsty though. I'd be a little
Yeah.
stressed out too if like I was at this farm and
Like I
this chick
turned-
was coming at me.
When you're that age, you just want it.
Well,
Yeah.
I
She was
turned,
like, listen, I'm desperate to get off this farm
Yeah.
and you seem like you have money.
I turned to Jude. I was like, that's the type of girl who will like get pregnant just to trap a guy. You know? Like she was trying her best to like have sex with him, and he was just like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
well-
dad was like, what happened to the last guy? And she's like, ugh, all he cared about was pig farming. And the dad's like, pig farming's a good job. My dad was a pig farmer. And she was like, that ain't the life for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a man with a Porsche.
She's trying to get out of town for sure.
And the actress who played the sister, she was in this other movie that was a ripoff.
Oh,
of
Ghoulies.
Critters called
Yeah.
Ghoulies. Yeah. Yeah. So she was in both of those.
Ghoulies. I think I've seen a poster for that.
That's the
Yeah,
one with
I
the coming out of the toilet. the little-
Yeah, I feel like there was like around this time, there was Gremlins, there was Critters, there was Ghoulies. And I feel like there were a bunch of like little spin-offs that were like, we're doing a version of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure
It's
Jude
like-
will make us watch it at some point.
Can we talk about the dad's bowling league?
The Pinbusters.
Yeah, and it was the Ghostbusters logo, right? But we had a bowling pin instead of a ghost. Yeah, that was great.
Genius.
That's great. It's
I
great
want to be
marketing.
on that bowling league.
And the colors of the shirt were based off of Egon's colors from the Ghostbusters cartoon show.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like this pastel green and pink. It was like really weird.
Yeah, because Ghostbusters came out in '84, and then this came out in '86, so they were probably still riding that wave.
I wonder if they had to get copyright like legal.
It's different.
Legal.
No,
Is
it's
it under
different
parody?
enough. Yeah, it's different enough.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
we only got $2 million, man.
Yeah, we're working on a shoestring budget here.
Yeah.
But it was also funny, like so, like the main thrust of the show is kind of like this family dealing with like the critters, which is typical horror movie stuff. But a side kind of like plot to this is the bounty hunters trying to track down the critters, and they're really bad at tracking
They're
stuff
terrible.
down. But like in a way, that was a more enjoyable
yeah.
plot line.
There was way more bounty hunter stuff in this movie than the actual.
Yeah,
critters.
and I liked how like the one guy shows up because he looks like the rock star, and everyone's like, "Hey, you're that rock star guy," and his partner can't decide on a face. He's like so wishy washy about it.
Well, he takes on like 3 different faces,
Yeah.
right?
He's the deputy 1st,
then the preacher.
and then he goes into the church to talk to the preacher. Then he takes that guy's face,
Yeah.
and then he goes into the bowling bowling alley bar, and
And
he
he
sees
gets
Charlie,
Charlie's face.
the nut, and he takes Charlie's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just go around just like randomly destroying shit. Like they're really bad at driving, so they keep running into stuff.
They stayed in reverse. The first time they got their car,
Okay,
they didn't know how to drive it. They just put it in reverse and
They were
drove
supposed
backwards.
to study that video of the customs of the planet, and they did a shitty job. They're watching rock videos the whole time. And he's like, yeah, I'm feeling this guy, Johnny Steele.
Yeah.
And he like stopped watching the video at that point. He was like, yeah, I got my face.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything else.
And that first face transformation was like really creepy because like
Yeah.
they basically
Oh,
like
yeah,
did
the
in reverse
practical-
like this like melting wax face type
Yeah,
thing.
they did the Indiana Jones thing, but in reverse. Like, it had like a skull, and then it like slowly morphed
Yeah.
into a person.
just like they did the house at the end.
yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Movie magic.
Everything's coming together.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of interesting because this is the only Critters movie where like the critters get bigger the more they eat,
Yes.
and it was kind of weird. Like at the end, instead of like eating the daughter, they just bring her to their spaceship.
Well, you can't eat the sexy chick.
you need a snack for later because
Yeah.
she was a little bit of a snack.
Yeah. They're gonna take her. It's like a King Kong thing, you know. Oh, she's pretty. We're gonna take her
Yeah.
with us.
I mean, they fucked a chicken. You think they're not going to fuck her?
That's a good point. Yeah. Critter babies.
Did you
Glad-
see the size of that chicken?
I'm so glad Jude is here.
Me too, because I thought this movie was kind of dumb.
It's a campy 80s dumb movie, dude.
I wish with my every little bit of my heart that we had the time to like watch these movies together because it would be so much more enjoyable if we could.
You weren't into it, huh?
No,
Not at all.
no, not really, not at all.
Oh wow.
I was kind of felt this way about all these movies this week. They're fun movies. I had to have people to watch these movies with, even if I had to like do a watch party on our Discord to do it, because I don't know if I could have gotten through any of them on my own. You know what I'm saying?
I almost didn't finish Killer Clowns.
Yeah.
I was so close not
You
to
guys
watch.
are crazy.
It's just
Are you ready to talk about that movie?
Yes.
Okay, let's do final
thoughts.
thoughts. Final thoughts on Critters. V, what's the star rating for this?
Critters. I avoided watching this movie for years and years and years because I knew I just wasn't ever going.
I'm glad I could help bring
into it.
about that closure for
Yeah.
you.
I saw this movie. I think I saw it maybe back in the day, maybe back in the late 80s. I don't know. Maybe I did. I don't remember ever taking it off the shelf at the VHS store, but I had to have at some point or seen it on. Was it ever on TBS or
Probably.
something like that?
Probably,
maybe I
yeah.
saw it there. But this might as well have been the first watch because I don't remember watching it before. But I don't think it was. But it's just, I appreciate your love for these kind of movies, but sometimes these movies are really hard for me. And this is one of those ones that was just really kind of hard. I did like the fact that Scott Grimes was in it because for the first half hour of the show, I'm like, that dude looks really familiar, even though he's 12 or whatever it was. And it was really kind of funny to me that it's like, oh, Orville guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Pilot from Orville.
Yeah.
He's done a shout out for us too.
Yeah.
Well, hi there, guys. I'm saying hi to Alex. I'm saying hi to Matt. I'm saying hi to Juju, who are some salty nerds. You guys run the Salty Nerds podcast, I hear, and I hear it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I get it. It was that was fun. But I don't know. I have a hard time if I'm just judging these on a normal movie scale. I'm giving all these movies 1-star crap fest this week, but I can't do that.
Why not?
Because it's just I got to put them on like a bad campy movie scale. You know, it's just because it's not fair to give them all 1-star crap fest because that's just shitty to me because they're it's just you know what I mean. On a bad movie scale, I'll put it like 2.5. I think.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a high rating for a movie you don't like.
Yeah, but it's on a bad movie. It's for bad movies. I'll give it a middle of the road.
Okay.
So
All right. Jude.
I love this movie. I'm so excited that I had the power to make you guys watch this movie. It's one of the movies that made Jude. This is one of the movies that is like one of the things that I watched growing up that made me like this genre of movies. This and the next one we're going to talk about. So this is probably 4 Billy Zane's fingers out of 5. For me.
Okay. All right. Cool. 4 out of 5. Kish. First watch.
Yes, so this was a first watch.
I
Like
didn't know.
I knew about Critters for a long time. Just never had the desire to watch it. So it was kind of fun getting to watch it for my first time with Jude and Tom, Conspiracy Tom, who came over to watch it with us. And there's a scene in here where like the whole family's having dinner with Billy Zane and they're eating corn on the cob. And I turned to my companions and I was like, I wonder if they use the War Games method of eating that corn on the cob. And everyone got my joke, which was nice.
They don't though. I looked because I thought the same exact thing. Every time I see somebody eating corn on the cob, and I'm like, are they going to butter it the way they're supposed to?
Are they wargaming it?
Are they wargaming it?
Yeah, but this movie is a lot of fun. I mean, it's dumb, it's campy, but if you go in knowing that it's dumb and campy, you're gonna have a good time watching it. I loved like the whole like kind of space bounty hunter aspect of it, and how kind of Blues Brothery they were, just like running around destroying everything,
fucking shit up, walking out
exactly
with a new face.
Yeah, and the characters were all like interesting and believable, and I thought that the critters themselves were like a lot of fun. It did remind me a lot of Gremlins. And overall, it was just kind of like a stupid, enjoyable movie. It's the type of movie where if you get together with some friends and get a few drinks in you and you watch it, like you guys can have a good time watching it. So it's definitely one of those cult movies, in my opinion. And I'll give it a solid 2 Billy Zane fingers out of, or 2 Billy Zane ponytails out of 5.
Okay.
There you go.
Question. What was that bounty hunter show that we watched recently?
Oh, Cowboy Bebop?
Cowboy Bebop, thank you. Yeah,
Oh.
so those are space bounty hunters versus these space bounty hunters. Like, these ones win. I feel like this did a better job of like fleshing out space bounty hunters and making them fun and cool.
Okay.
It depends on if you're talking about the live action show or the anime, because the anime.
I think she's talking about the live action.
Well, yeah,
I
I've
know
never
she- I know
seen
she
that
is.
one, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like the show that we just watched versus the show that we just watched.
Right.
Like, these space bounty hunters are so much cooler. They're so much more fun, and they're so much more fun to watch.
Yeah, and I like how like, so it makes sense if you're a bounty hunter that you would change your face to kind of blend in with like whatever happens. And like later on in the Critter sequels, like I think the one who can't decide on like, you know, what face he wants turns into like a woman based off of like a centerfold and like a Playboy. He's got like big boobs and stuff like that.
But that's what's so hilarious about it too, is that they do that to blend in, but at the same time, they're just like destroying everything that they come about, and it doesn't make them blend in.
Yeah.
This is a.
Oh, don't you dare.
Do it.
It's like a 1.5 star. I'll give it a 0.5 star. It's okay. It's okay. I don't hate it, but it's not my genre. The critters were goofy. That scene where they were like, they have weapons. So what? Oh, fuck. That was legitimately funny, but that was the only moment where I was like really laughing out loud.
Yeah, I wish there were more moments
yeah,
like that
like
where we got the subtitled critters stuff.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
You should listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's a cool guy.
He's a super cool guy. But I can't give it more than that because I just didn't. I'll never watch this movie again. It's not my
I
thing.
don't understand why I'm on a show with you.
Oh, you wait until we talk about Killer Klowns, which we're going to talk about right after this. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to refill my drink, and then we're
I
going
have
to
to
talk
go
about
get Vader a wig.
Killer Klowns from Outer Space. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the podcast, download an awesome mobile game called Dragon Champions at saltynerd.com/DC. It's a really fun game that we all play here at the Salty Nerd Podcast. We actually have a guild that is ran by one of our patrons. Dragon Champions is a really cool hero collecting game where you get to collect your heroes, upgrade them, get a bunch of points, and go on raids and defeat other people and go on campaigns. It's a lot of fun, very easy to play. And if you type in those promo code SALTY in the promo code area, you will get a little leg up. Get some extra points, some extra gold, an extra character, and it'll push you along your way. When you reach level 20, you can sign up to become a Salty Nerd Podcast Guild member, and you can come on raids with us.
How are your raids going?
I got my ass handed to me in a raid.
He doesn't know how to.
I don't know how to raid. You're level like 70. He's level 80. I'm like level 22.
I got kind of banned from the last raid.
Because you took over and just wiped
They're
the floor.
"Don't- it's the level 1 raid, so you guys should use your lower level characters. It's like I don't want to go in there with my like one dude and go and just like wipe it all out.
I had all of my best characters out versus the first boss, and I got freaking creamed. I was like, ugh, all right, well, And then Vader came in and helped me out and defeated him for me. So
I didn't even. No, I didn't.
no, you didn't. Who
What
did
a
it then?
Hero.
Somebody came in there and helped me out. I wonder who it was. Anyway,
Swooped in like a hero, like
Yeah.
a white knight.
like a dragon champion. All right, guys, sign up. Don't forget to use the promo code Salty at saltynerd.com/DC. Next movie on our list: Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That is a fact.
You have some explaining to do.
I can't wait.
Take it away.
1988 Killer Clowns from Outer Space, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour 28 minutes. This had a budget of $2 million. So I want to preface this by saying the only budgetary information or the box office information that I could get included streaming. So like a home video. What do you think this brought in?
I don't know. $2 million.
How recent are your numbers?
Today.
Oh, it's got to be way up there. This is the definition of a cult classic movie.
Yes.
It's probably $50-60 million.
Okay.
I would imagine.
Alex, do you want to reconfigure or are you sticking with breaking even at $2 million?
We're taking
and,
in.
and keep in mind this budget was the same size
As
as Critters
Critters.
was,
Yes.
$2 million.
2 years later, in fact.
We're taking into consideration like home rentals?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know. 15 million.
$43.6 million. Yeah, Vader's right. This is a cult classic.
Yeah, and when you factor in like merchandise and toys and all this stuff that this thing has spawned, it's probably closer to 50 million.
Yeah.
There was toys for this shit.
Yep.
Fuck yes, there were.
Ugh. No, go ahead, take it away.
Okay. So, nothing ruins date night quite like some killer clowns parking their big top spaceship in your town and murdering everyone with cotton candy. Mike and Debbie think they're seeing a shooting star, and while trying to find it, find themselves inside the space tent. Thinking it was a regular circus, they went inside to look around, but realized they're standing inside the shooting star they were looking for, and it's neither fun nor romantic. They enlist the help of Debbie's cop ex-boyfriend, Dave, who discovers that if you shoot the clowns in the nose, they stay dead. Together, they keep the town safe and kill the killer clowns. But when Debbie gets kidnapped inside a giant balloon, Dave and Mike follow the clowns to rescue her before they fly the ship away with all their collected snacks inside. Discuss.
I freaking hate this movie with a burning passion
I
from
freaking
hell.
hate you with a burning passion from hell.
Like,
But like I can still work with you.
I hated it so much. I don't even want to edit it for the podcast, for the show.
You are
Because I
crazy.
do not want to subject myself to this nonsense again.
Okay.
Editing in the context of the clips.
This movie is so silly.
It's stupid. It's
You-
so
you
stupid.
hate joy is what the problem is.
There's nothing to be
And-
joyous about.
And the clowns were first misrepresenting themselves with joy, which you hate. So you weren't duped by any of it.
Duped? Every person in this goddamn town is a walking imbecile. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, look at this grotesquely disgusting thing that's telling me to come over and play.
Yeah, but-
Let's go play with
Okay,
it.
first of all, it was the 80s when people
Deputy
were done.
Mooney was not stupid.
Mooney
No, he
hated
was stupid.
everyone. Mooney thought everyone needed to be shot dead.
I liked Mooney. I loved Mooney's character. I was the only person I thought in this movie that had two brain cells to rub together.
Mooney got what was coming to him.
Mooney, when he actually was in this position to be like, okay, his character so far has done X, Y, and Z. When he encounters these fucking grotesque ass clowns, he's gonna go, you know what, fuck this, and blow them away. No, he's like, well, I'm just gonna take you in and book you myself. And he puts the handcuffs on him and he walks in. And I'm just like, everybody in this movie is so idiotic, it's impossible to watch.
Okay,
All right,
this
let's-
is another issue with your tone. And everyone's so idiotic. That's how you need to
Listen,
be saying
listen,
this.
here's the
Also,
thing.
wait. Before you do that, I just want to say, did you catch that Mooney was making fun of Dave for having graduated from an academy? Mooney never went to police academy. He just became a cop.
Well, he was just the town bully who just
Right.
became the cop.
Yes. So his character makes sense. Please continue, Vader.
Okay.
Nice wig.
Let
I
me
mean,
see.
nice hair.
I know I have awesome hair today. It's like,
I love that you went to the salon for
I
this.
know, right? So okay, so I don't. How am I going to say this? There's bad B campy movies like the one we just watched called Critters. And then there's, holy shit, amazeballs, what the fuck am I watching? Fully embraced, crazy ass clown movies like this one. Okay,
No?
no.
Oh, no. It's very exciting.
This is for what this movie is, it's really good, but I still fucking hated this movie.
Oh, no.
But I loved it at the same time because it fully embraces what it is. Okay, I don't feel that way about
Don't tease me.
these other movies this week. I'm so conflicted with this movie. I really am, because there's so much stuff in this movie that just made me like literally laugh out loud. From the guy, the fat chicks in the ice cream.
That fucking shit was
That
hilarious.
was hilarious. All right,
They're sucking on those fucking things like
What
they're
kind of girls do you think we
yeah,
are?
I'm like, you're sucking on that thing like you're sucking on a cock, and you're upset that he thinks you're gonna take your shirt off.
That is hilarious. The fucking deep throating the fudgesicles and shit.
And
like-
they're big chicks, and
and
I'm
they're
like,
fatties.
oh my god, that was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
80s.
They knew
Yeah,
just
yeah.
how to trap them.
Oh my god.
They were like,
the innuendo in
we're
this
gonna
thing
get
is
chicks
so
with this
unsubtle.
ice cream
She's
chuck.
sucking on a red rocket.
Oh, God.
I was like, oh shit.
I'm like,
And a
holy
red
shit.
rocket is a euphemism for a dick.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're not on, if you
Yeah.
if you're not in the know.
It's like I was appalled and loved it at the same time. It was the weirdest.
Oh, I got a fist bump.
It was the weirdest sensation I've had watching a movie in a long time. Because this is not my kind of movie.
No.
Okay, I'll probably never watch. I hate clowns.
Yeah.
I loathe clowns. But for this movie took that whole space weird campy clown genre and flipped it upside down and turned it inside out and made the weirdest fucking movie I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
They shot popcorn bullets.
yeah.
That turned into like little freaking snake gremlin things.
They had a balloon dog that was sniffing out
Oh
the
my
next
God.
victim.
They had cotton candy person cocoons.
Cocoons.
Cocoons. They were cold.
It was so weird.
The freaking balloon dog thing. Like I was watching this movie. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a campy 80s movie. And then like these grotesque. And I cannot state how
oh yeah, they're gross.
This movie makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like the clowns literally make me feel uncomfortable.
They're supposed to.
I'm like,
It's
this
job.
is fucking gross.
You got to give them credit for that.
Like,
then,
this
because
isn't
they
like-
did their job.
But it didn't make me want to watch the movie. I was like, this is gross. I need to stop.
Yeah.
It's not like this is gross and weird and cool. Like Jude thinks, look at her, she's dying.
Yeah.
I was literally at the point where I was like, God, I wish I could stop watching this shit because these things are uncomfortably gross.
Yeah.
Just thought to myself, it's like porn, but not.
It's what
There's
clown porn.
and that's what
there's a porn parody of this out there.
and that's what made me dislike this movie because the people who are in this real world, when they see these things that are making me like, whoop, like I don't want to be around these things, and they're like, oh, he looks like a friendly clown. Let's go hang out with him. I'm like, shut the fuck up. What are you
listen.
doing?
I watched this movie and I had kind of the same reaction to this movie as I had to that stupid zombie movie they had with Elijah Wood in it.
Oh,
Cuties?
Cuties, yeah.
Cuties.
When she bit into the freaking
Yeah, kind of the same.
Cooties.
Kind of the same kind of reaction because that's
Oh yeah,
that's-
Cuties is something different.
That's just kind of
Oh, yeah.
that's just a modern version of a B movie.
Well, I mean, this movie is meant to be a parody of like the
Yeah.
1950s alien invasion movies.
And also to take everyone's fear of clowns into accord.
right.
Yeah. Well, that's what's so
I
frustrating.
mean, come on, the fucking spaceships are a big top 10.
So stupid.
It's ridiculous.
And then when the couple
Elevators.
when the couple
Yeah.
the couple goes in there and is like, this is interesting.
this is cool.
And they walk in deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Get out. What are you doing? This is so stupid. And then the when they're running away from the clowns and they make like a little balloon dog and then it goes ruff, ruff, and like chases
Yeah.
them.
Oh, that was
I'm
hilarious.
like, you gotta be fucking kidding me right now.
I was cringing and laughing at the same
It's so
time.
bad, dude.
I also
So
love,
it hit its mark with you.
Yeah, I guess.
I
It
also
did
love the
exactly what
part
it was supposed
where
to.
they show up in their clown car and the security guard is like, you can't park that here. And then
Yeah.
like they just keep getting out of the
There's
car.
like 9 of them in there.
Oh, that's at the end, right?
Yeah, at the
When they
end.
do the, Clown cars freak me out, dude.
Dude.
Even in a real circus, when all them motherfuckers come jumping out of that car, I'm like,
Listen, man.
it's freaky, man.
Do you guys remember a couple of years ago, there was this like weird phase going on in the internet where like people would dress up like killer clowns and walk around neighborhoods and shit?
Not good.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
That's how you get shot in the head by the
was
neighborhood.
shot- I
watch.
shoot that
Notice for
motherfucker. Yeah.
anybody who might have an inclination to do that, I am not going to ask any questions. You will be shot.
Yes.
That is just end all be all.
I don't know. I might just go chase him down with a bat wrapped in barbed wire.
And that's what frustrates me about this movie is because literally nobody in this goddamn town thought to themselves, that's a creepy ass looking clown in the middle of the night. I'm going to shoot it.
In my head canon, I kind of feel like when the clowns show up, the people just like get put on in a spell of dumbassery. Because it's just like there's
Classic dumbassery spell. Yeah, Dark Wizard. Dark Wizard.
You know,
Yeah, he's a level 14 Dark Wizard.
It's so weird because they are using magic.
Yeah.
The shadow puppet.
Oh god, that was so infuriating.
It was so weird.
There was just like a whole town of people sitting at a bus stop for no fucking reason in the middle of the night. There's like an old couple and a couple of young people and like
it
a
was
kid
Friday night. They had places to go.
at a bus stop. Anyway, they were like this again. Grotesque clown comes walking up with his freaking fat sausage fingers and
He's not that grotesque until he smiles.
And then he starts making. I can't even with you right now. It's a fucking movie. He starts making finger puppets, and everybody's like, "Ooh, oh!" And I'm like, "Oh,
Well, those were some impressive.
Seriously, if you
He
saw
was
a
doing
shadow
an
puppet,
elephant. Elephant.
Are you kidding me? If I saw what they saw,
enthralled.
I would either A, run the fuck out of there, or B, start shooting. There is no freaking. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's go take a closer look.
what's your favorite clown?
I hate them all. They're all gross.
You have to pick one.
I will go first.
I don't mind.
It was the motorcycle scooter clown.
Okay, the baby one, the little tiny one.
Is he the short one?
Yeah.
And then the
and the
motorcycle
biker dude?
dudes were like, "Can I honk your horn?" And they trash his bike.
Yeah.
And then he
eats their face
no,
off.
No,
He
he
chops their head
literally
off.
punch it. He was like, "What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?" And that's exactly what
Cut
that
his head
fucking
off,
clown does.
Yeah. Mhm.
That guy's head. All you see is the clown punching up, which is the only way you should punch. He punches up, and that motorcycle guy's head just
Goes flying.
lands in a dumpster.
Yeah.
It was perfect. And that guy got what was coming to him.
The short clown was my favorite one too. So I guess we all like the short one. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, the short clown was the best.
Hey, what did you think about this movie?
So this is a very interesting film. Basically, it was made by these guys called the Chiodo brothers, Charles, Stephen, and Edward. And they ran a special effects house in Hollywood. And oddly enough, they did all the creature effects for Critters, which was the movie that we just finished reviewing. And Stephen Chiodo, who directed this movie, he was driving down a dark road one night, and he had like a kind of like a vision of like an alien that just kind of like drives up next to him, and he's just like on he looks like he's riding like a bike, but he's not on anything. And so he turned that into like a story, and his brothers came along and they're like, you know what would make this story more interesting? He's like, what? He's like, if they were clowns from outer space. And he was like, I like how you guys are thinking.
No. He said it like this. You know what? You know what would make this better? Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Clowns.
Clowns, man! Clowns!
Fucking clowns, bro.
Because these brothers had their own special effects house, they were able to make like all like the clown outfits and like basically all the special effects like really cheap. In fact, the most expensive thing that they had to make in this entire movie was the gun that shot out like the popcorn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like
It wasn't like the cocoon room.
Pass it back.
no, it wasn't any of the sets or anything like that. It was basically like they had to figure out how to do like this compressed air gun that like shot out like
They had to figure that out. That's like the most basic engineering.
well essentially like they spent $8,000 on that gun.
I could build that from Home Depot.
Yeah,
Hear me out.
That and the
you
sex
guys.
chair from Home Depot.
yes.
Yeah.
Hear me out. What if they shoot popcorn?
It's just high as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, one of the more interesting things is so like towards the end of the movie, there's a scene where like the clowns throw pies at the security guard and they kill him from like throwing pies at
Melts
him.
him.
And one of the things
Killer pies.
one of the things about like the whole pie gag is that normally like you just have like an empty tin, you fill it with whipped cream, you throw the pie at people, but the brothers wanted like the actual pies to like, you know, look like pies. And so they were throwing actual pies at this guy. But the funny thing is that, so when you have a pie with like actual crust and like filling and things of that nature, if you're too close, like they actually like hurt when you get hit by them. And so like, and so like they had to like figure out how to, the optimum distance to throw pies to like get it to not only stick to the guy, but not hurt him. And it's one of the funnier scenes in the movie because like the guy just keeps getting like pelted by these pies.
They missed the first time. The first pie goes whizzing past him and he's just like, what? And then pow.
Yeah. They were like, just keep going. We're going to keep filming.
Yeah. It's, oh God.
And there's like the giant cherry on his head.
I fucking hate this movie so much.
But there are two characters in this called the Terrorize brothers.
Rich and
the
Paul.
ice cream kids?
Yeah. The two brothers who run the ice cream truck. And these guys were actually an established LA comedy duo. Like they were like a stand-up duo that, you know, would do the LA comedy clubs. And the Chiodo brothers were fans of them. And they were like, hey, you want to be in our movie? And they were like, yeah. And they just kind of like appear in this movie. And I think a lot of the ice cream gags were like from them, like the fat chicks and stuff like that. But this movie is like a throwback to like the cheesy Ed Wood type alien invasion movies from the 50s. And it has like such an interesting, unique twist in it. I can remember watching this like when I was a kid and not really understanding it, you know, when I was younger, but like upon rewatching it now that I'm older, I have like a renewed kind of appreciation for it because it is a cult classic. There are people who like love this movie.
Yeah.
And it was very imaginative and very interestingly made, interestingly well done.
But do you like it? That's what I want to know.
Well, I like it in the sense that like it's an enjoyable, campy movie. Like you don't go into a movie called Killer Klowns from Outer Space, you know, expecting it to be good, but you expect it to at least be fun. And it was fun. Like all the clowns have like their own unique personality. I loved Mooney. Mooney was like one of my favorite things. And it's kind of funny because like earlier on in the movie, he's like, I'm not going to be your puppet, you know? And then like he ends up dying by becoming a marionette puppet.
That was sick.
So fucked up. They had him like on his lap.
They make him a marionette.
Yeah, and they make him up. He's got his like little lines in his mouth, and he's talking to the kid. But
like,
then when he was done with him, he goes, and he pulls his hand out, and it's covered in blood.
Yeah, and he just like,
oh shit! Yeah,
that was like
that was messed
legitimately the gnarliest part of this whole movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was disturbing.
Yeah,
it was good.
Like this movie rides the line of like campy and or gross and disturbing too much. I needed it to either go one way or the other.
Disagree.
Give me the dark shit, the weird dark humor stuff, like the puppet thing. That I was like, oh shit, that's freaking crazy.
I want a full forearm full of blood. Then you go
like do that.
Yeah.
But don't give me the balloon puppet thing barking at the people running away. Like that's so stupid. No, it's so stupid. And I just need the people to be smarter. If the people were just semi-intelligent, anybody.
I think this is one of those movies where that didn't bother me because it's just not that kind of a movie. It's full on camp. The whole point is these townspeople are dumb, and these clowns from outer space
Nobody's that dumb.
are harvesting these people.
When
they're not supposed to be smart.
That scene where that, again, just disgusting looking clown is going like this to the little girl, and the little girl's like, oh,
he's
that's
very
a clown.
whimsical.
And she walks over to him, and then the mom, who is apparently oblivious to this 8 foot tall,
it's the 80s.
It is like, oh, honey, don't go over there. Come over here with me. And I'm just like,
no. She says, you're not going anywhere till you finish your dinner.
No, yeah, it makes sense. But I was just like, I'm like, why the fuck does nobody see this shit?
Well, I mean, Alex, you got to take it into account that like this movie's meant to be kind of like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the fact, getting back to the character Mooney, he's played by John Vernon, who was like, you know, in Animal House, and like he's been in like hundreds of movies. Very famous voice actor too. Like he's done a lot of voice acting, and it was kind of funny because like he brought a certain gravitas to the movie.
Yeah, he
that
did.
That was kind of strange.
Hated everyone, wanted to shoot everyone.
Yeah. And I was just like, why isn't he the hero of this movie? Like
should have been.
I really want him to just be running around like killing clowns.
Yes.
Because he attacked a clown from the back unprovoked. Therefore, he got what was coming to him.
Unprovoked?
Yeah.
There's no such thing with a clown.
Okay, fine. I'll give you half a point for that.
So we also needed to point. So in Critters, we talked about that one song. How's it go again?
Power of the night.
Yeah.
Streets are calling.
But yeah, in this song, in this movie, we get another original song. How's it go?
I've had this song stuck
Oh
in
my God,
head
the Killer
all
Clown song?
fucking week. Now I have Power of the Night stuck in my head. I gotta revamp.
The Carousel of Death or something like that.
It's just something nonsensical like Killer Clowns.
So basically, it was written by this punk rock band called the Dickies, and it almost sounds like a Rush song. Because he's got like the very high pitched noise. It's like "Killer Clowns from Outer Space," and it's kind of funny because like both Critters and this movie, I was like, why don't movies like make their own songs anymore?
They're so catchy. Like I've literally had Killer Clowns stuck in my head, not knowing any of the words. It was just like the melody of it, and it was driving me insane. But now he put Power of the Night, which is better.
Yeah. Another funny bit about this movie is like all the vehicles for the movie were rented, right? And there's a bit at the end where the brothers that run the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about the brothers.
They're trying to run away from Clownzilla, the big boss at the end. That's what they called him, is Clownzilla.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't leave the truck behind. It's a rental. And it was kind of like an inside gag because like all the cars that they used for this movie were like rented and they couldn't like damage them or anything like that. So I just thought that was kind of funny.
You want to talk about the brothers?
I do.
Go ahead.
So the story arc of the brothers is that their whole motivation for everything is to get girls. So they rented the ice cream truck to get girls. They've got these two girls in the back, but once they mention parking, the girls are like, we're out of here. We're not those kind of girls. And then they like come with Mike to the spaceship tent, and they end up falling into like a ball pit, and they meet these two girl clowns.
Oh, that's right. And they freaking grow boobs.
Yeah, their boobs grow.
Yeah. And they're like, so in order to get them there, Mike was like, yeah, Debbie's got these two great roommates with big boobs who love ice cream. Will you just take me to her house so I can fucking save her from these clowns? And they're like, yeah, I mean, if she's got big boob roommates, of course. So they take them, and then they track them down to the big top 10. They fall in this pit the whole time. They're like, clowns, are you gonna kill us? And obviously, and then they end up falling into a pit. They meet these two female big boobed clowns, and then the next time we see them, they have conquered the female clowns, and they have like kiss marks all over them.
It's obviously totally fuck those clowns.
They fuck those clowns.
Gross.
Oh.
Hey, those clowns are big tits.
Yeah. When the brothers showed back up, I turned to Jude. I was like, "Did they fuck those girl clowns?"
Yeah,
and she was like,
sure
"Oh,
did."
Yeah, they didn't kill him. In the rules of Alien 1, it don't matter if it's Alien.
Well, you know what's funny is like, so originally in their original ending for this movie, the sheriff guy was supposed to die, killing the clowns, and the brothers didn't survive. But the studio wanted them to have like a happy ending version in case it didn't test well. And so they shot the one where basically the brothers and the sheriff survived by hiding in the clown car that survives the explosion at the end. And when they were in the editing bay, they were like, you know what? The happier ending just fits better. So like, we're going to use that one. We're not going to use the original ending. And so like, that's the one that they went with. I just thought it was kind of funny because it's like, yeah, everyone lives, except for the entire town.
Yeah, the entire town is dead. They're all in the cocoons in the ship. There's like hundreds of people.
And they get blown
silly
up.
and whimsical. And delightful.
Like how creepy is that scene where like the fat clown comes in and puts like that twisty straw into one
and
of the
sucks the
cocoons?
blood out of the thing?
Oh, yeah. That's
Because
why
he's a fatty. He's cheating. That's your snack for the journey.
What were you going to say?
I was watching this movie and I wanted props. I wanted twisty straws.
You were sending us like Amazon gift cards.
I wanted giant crazy straws. I wanted to drink like red drinks so that like you could see the red going through them. I wanted a red nose and a clown wig. Yeah.
We were all like, no.
Fuck you, man.
Well, what's funny is like the Chiodo brothers have been trying to get a sequel to this movie made for like years, and they want to call it The Return of the Killer Clowns from Outer Space in 3D. And they
I'd watch that.
yeah, and they've been trying to turn it into like either a TV show or like a movie or something like that, and it just keeps like kind of like
why would they
falling
not
on
be
its
able to
face.
get that done? It has enough of a cult following. They could easily.
43 million, they can finance it themselves.
I don't know what the deal is, why it keeps stalling, but like basically their initial kind of like concept for a sequel is to have like a new cast who are like street performers, and people from the original movie keep coming in and recruiting them to fight off like the killer clowns, and so it's like a passing of the torch type
Oh my
thing.
God.
I hate this movie so much.
Yeah.
You're insane.
This movie sucks.
You're insane.
Okay.
You're insane.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm allowed to be on my hill. You're on your hill on the other side.
It's fine. Get some mental health.
Just,
I think you just have to take this movie for what it is.
I tried, but honestly, dude, like, if it was just straight camp, like we'd watch campy movies,
It is-
Chopping Mall and shit like that.
This is straight
Chopping
camp.
Mall's
Yeah, but-
amazing.
Like,
You can't get campier.
the
than this.
fucking clowns made me uncomfortable, dude. I didn't want to watch the movie. I was like, these fucking things are freaking me the fuck out, and I need to stop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like them.
I don't like them either.
they weird me out. I don't want to watch it.
You're dealing with your own phobias.
when it
I
was
understand.
like, come here, little girl, and it's like fuck up mouth and everything. I was like, nope, can't do it. Sorry, I wanted to not watch this
I
movie.
mean, that's the horror aspect of the movie, though,
yeah.
right?
What is it for you?
Somebody, it's below 1 star. It's like a half-star movie. I hate this movie. I never want to watch it again. You know, when you're like, this movie made me angry to watch it. That's where I'm at. I don't want to watch this movie
So disappointed.
ever
in
the hell
you.
again. Please don't ever pick Killer Clowns anything. I don't want to do it.
There's like 7 sequels,
Ugh.
and August is coming.
I don't want to watch this
I'm
fucking
kidding.
movie.
I don't think there's actually any sequels.
Oh, he's just said there's no sequels. They're trying to get one made, and I'm glad they haven't. Good for you, Hollywood. I'm gonna yuck your yum for this movie.
I feel like I'm the only person who doesn't yuck other people's yums on this panel.
It's like half,
Wait till
half star.
cartoon week.
Half star. What do you give it?
I don't know. 3 stars. I'm gonna go with 3 stars because it fully embraces the kind of movie it's supposed to be. For the kind of movie it's supposed to be, it's probably higher than 3 stars, but I can't give it any more than 3 stars.
I will. Don't worry.
So I'm sure you will. You have to just kind of go into a movie like this and embrace what it is. It's camp, sci-fi clown horror movie, and it's for what they set out to do. I think they accomplished it in spades. So I have to appreciate that. But is this a movie for me? No. Absolutely. I hate clowns. I loathe clowns. It's both a 1-star crap fest for my real brain, but for my fucked up stupid brain for this show, I'm gonna give it 3. So yeah. That's where I'm
So
at.
you're saying it's a 4?
No.
Jude's adding points now.
Add them together.
Jude, what's your rating?
Just so giddy with joy that I got to watch this for work, and I got to make you guys watch it too. This is one of my favorite movies from my growing up years, my adolescent years. This is 100% one of the top 10 movies that made Jude, and this is just for me. All of my ratings are always just based on purely my own perspective of it. But for me, this is 5 balloon dogs out of 5.
5 out of
This
5.
is just one of those movies that made me the weirdo that I am, and I appreciate it for what it is. Is it badly acted? Yes. Is it badly written? Yes. Is it campy as fuck? Hell yeah. And it's everything that I want. This is the equivalent of Chopping Mall for
It's behind you. Other side. Other side.
there.
There you go.
This is the equivalent. I don't know.
I don't know how space works.
It's the time space continuum. This is the equivalent of Chopping Mall for me. This is one of the movies that made Jude, and therefore I would not be here present with y'all today were it not for one of these fucking movies, and I love it. And
All right.
I will die on this hill.
All right.
It's her Wrath of Khan. For me.
I didn't cry.
And I don't think it's not well written either. I think for what it is, it's very, very well done.
This is perfectly what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I love that about a movie. When a movie is not good, but it's supposed to be exactly that, this just hits the fucking mark.
It's like you like Willy's Wonderland, right?
Nick Cage movie? Yeah, it was a great movie. I think I gave it a 5 stars.
Same stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the same stupid shit.
If you had never watched that, but watched it 20 years from now, you'd be like, holy shit, this is fucking bonkers.
See, I didn't like that movie.
No, I know
But for some reason I like this one for what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
But
It is what it is, and it's perfectly in that.
I never want to see another one of those freaking clowns again.
Yeah.
They freak me out. Kadish, what's your rating for this?
So this is a fun, dumb movie. I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't make any apologies for what it is. You know exactly what you're going to get going into it. And for that reason, I just give it a solid 2 fat chicks eating ice cream out of 5.
Okay. All right.
Because he loves a curvy girl.
That's it for Killer Clowns from Outer Space. What's your rating? I'm curious to know what our audience
pop it in the
thinks.
comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below what your rating is for
Yeah,
Killer
you know,
Clowns.
I've never understood people's aversion to clowns. I never found clowns
they're
very
weird.
scary.
They're fucking creepy, dude. Listen, if you're in the clown industry, I apologize in advance, but don't come to my house
pick a new profession.
ever.
Don't come to Alex's street or neighborhood.
It's like-
If he's driving down the street, chances are he has his gun in the car. And just don't be around. Just don't be
I'm
around.
not fucking
What's
around
your
right
zip
now.
code in the general area of 891?
Whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't come to my area dressed as a clown.
I'm gonna go stand outside your house in a clown
You will
outfit
get
Like this,
shot.
like this.
You'll get shot.
with a butcher knife.
I got a lot of neighbors with guns, buddy.
Vader's going to go full John Wayne Gacy.
Oh
No, no. You lost me now. I don't want you to mention actual serial killers.
There was an
Bothers me.
actual clown serial killer.
Have you never heard of John Wayne Gacy?
Just Google it. I don't want to talk about
There's
it.
a really cool. There's a thing on Netflix. Go check it out.
All right, we're gonna Google that, and then we'll be right back. We're talking The Blob.
This
We'll be
is
right.
this is the one.
Stay tuned. The Blob. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you guys would like to support the podcast, get some awesome merch in return, go to saltynerdstore.com and grab some of our stuff. We've got some really cool t-shirts available there that Kadish and myself have designed. And we've got our monthly, I don't know if I can say that. We've got the Klingon Lives Matter. That's available at our store right now. The very controversial t-shirt. Head over there.
It just says England
Yeah.
Lives Matter.
You and that stupid wig. Why didn't you take the wig off?
I like it. Leave me alone.
Anyway, saltynerdstore.com, guys. Grab some stuff. Type in salty at the checkout counter for 10% off and help support the podcast. All right, next movie on our list, The Blob. God damn it. Take it away, Jude.
We should have made a drinking game every time I say that.
No, we should not.
1988. The Blob! Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour, 35 minutes. This had a budget of $19 million. What do you think this brought in?
42.
All
Yeah.
right, Vader?
30 million.
8.
That's it? Come on, man. You're telling me Killer Clowns made more money than this movie?
Fuck yes, I am.
God damn it.
Okay.
My faith in humanity is gone.
This movie's stupid.
It's not stupid. This is the best movie we watched this
No,
week.
it's not.
I mean, all 3 of these are gems,
This
which is
is-
why I picked them for you.
Does John Carpenter have anything to do with this movie? Because it has this. It feels like his movie.
So he was originally approached to develop this, but he passed on it.
It still feels like he made it.
They were like, what would John... WWJC?
What would John Carpenter do?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It did. It felt like a John Carpenter movie. And the
Yeah.
whole time I was digging it. I was like, yes, this is
Yeah.
grotesque.
We also needed What Would John Carpenter Do shirt.
I dig it. All right.
All right.
Write it down.
The 3 things you need to know about this movie are that Kevin Dillon is a bad boy. It is an unseasonably warm autumn day. and that this is the origin story for Shawnee Smith in all of the Saw movies, going from good girl to bad bitch. When a space blob attaches onto the hand of a hobo, Shawnee Smith and her date, whose name we don't need to know because he dies immediately, happen upon him and take him to the hospital, where there is one doctor and the nurses don't give a shit. While they wait for the hobo to be seen, the space blob ate his torso and crawled up the wall above Paul. Shawnee Smith hears her date screaming and runs in, grabs his arm to pull him out of the devouring blob, and this is where their date ends. In typical 80s movie fashion and life, when Shawnee Smith tells the cops what she saw, they prescribe rest until she's not crazy anymore. Knowing that Kevin Dillon is the only other person alive that saw the space blob, she sneaks out to track him down at the local diner and begs him to corroborate her story. Just when they start seeing eye to eye, the blob sneaks in and kills the cook, the waitress, the sheriff, and most of the town. Since it can travel through pipes and small cracks, it doesn't seem like anything can stop it from killing everyone until Kevin and Shawnee hide in a freezer and learn that the blob won't come in after them because it hates the cold. Luckily, the military just showed up with big guns, and the local mechanic has a snow machine he's been tinkering with that just might stop the blob in its snail trail. Discuss.
I freaking love this movie.
This movie's great.
I love it. I had so much fun with this movie. I was like digging it. I loved how it was like this. It started off really small, and then it ate that homeless dude in the woods, and then like it just kind of progresses through, and the whole hospital scene where they're like it falls off the roof and just
and
like,
how they kill that guy immediately, and you think he's a main character.
Yes, it was freaking awesome. I was like, this is dope. Like the main dude, right? Who's gonna be like, he's got the girlfriend. He's like the jock or whatever.
He seems like the hero of the story.
Yeah.
He's not.
Dead. Arm falls off. It's all like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I had so much freaking fun with this movie.
I'm so glad.
And
Dude, the gore effects in this film were like next level.
they were amazing. And I love that one, especially that one where the dude gets sucked into the freaking tub, or not the tub, the sink. And he's like broken in half. And then all you see is his leg like swirl down. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This movie's awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had a great time. No, I had so much fun with this movie, and I legitimately, like, if somebody were to say, oh yeah, this is either John Carpenter produced or directed or something was involved somehow, I would have been like, that makes sense, because it feels like a John Carpenter movie.
Have you ever seen the original? The
The black and white one?
Yeah.
A long time ago, I think I watched it. It was probably on TV at some point, like what is it, Turner Classic Movies or something?
Yeah. So like the blob itself is not as intimidating, and it just kind of rops through the film, and it's just not that scary, and it kills people, but yeah.
But I think in the 50s version, was it 50s?
I want to say 58,
something like that.
Something like that.
It was just unstoppable.
Yes.
So it would just kind of lumber towards you,
Yeah.
and like if you were in the way, you just kind of like get
there was
eaten
no
by-
stopping it, but honestly, like as you're watching it as a bystander, you're like, man.
But it wasn't hunting people. In this movie, this thing was freaking hunting.
Yeah, and in this movie, it just took the inspiration of that and it turned it up to 11.
This one goes to 11.
It made it so campy, and like the main character, Shawnee Smith, who's the main like bad girl in all of the Saw movies. I don't know if you have seen.
I didn't get that reference, but
okay.
Okay.
She's like a horror movie staple.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I find it funny that you guys like this movie. so
How
much.
did you not like it?
This is my least favorite movie
Are you?
of the week.
I think by the time he watched it, he just decided to hate everything.
No, I wasn't trying to hate anything. This movie just, I don't know, it just didn't really resonate with me. Maybe because I had to watch it by myself.
It was the best acted. It had the best effects.
I just saw a giant piece of slurm they were blowing around with a straw, making bubbles come out of it, and putting some.
It was cool effects though. I like the effects.
I didn't like it.
They were pink.
Where it like freaking plops on top of that dude in the bed, and you see him underneath it, and it's like eating his flesh away.
Yeah.
It's like fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. There's just I don't know why.
That's crazy.
This movie just didn't do it for me. I don't know why at all.
That's weird.
But you guys talk about it. You guys like
Well,
it.
why?
I don't know why I didn't like it. There was just something about this movie I didn't like. I didn't.
Okay, well maybe we should cancel the podcast.
No, you don't cancel the podcast. Just I don't know.
Okay. All right.
It didn't do much for me at all.
Give me my wig back.
No, it's mine.
Kadish, did you like this movie?
I love this movie.
Oh, thank God. That's awesome.
So, interesting fun fact, this movie is written by Frank Darabont, who did The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, the Mist. He started the Walking Dead TV show. And the director of this movie, Chuck Russell, he was just coming off of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Child, which is widely considered to be, after the first movie, the best Nightmare on Elm Street. But Frank Darabont, he's like a huge Stephen King fanatic. Like, he loves Stephen King stuff. And so he actually, around this time, The Stand had come out. And so he used The Stand as a big inspiration for this movie. Like Kevin Dillon's character, his last name is Flag. So
Yes.
and
Oh,
stuff
I
like
thought
that.
the same thing.
Yeah. And so like he uses a lot of Stephen King archetypes for the characters, and it's set in like a small town in Maine and like all this other stuff. And basically, like, he was like, well, I'm making a horror movie, so I'm going to pull from the best horror writer I know, which is Stephen King. And you can kind of see it in this movie, where like the first half of this movie is like a creature feature horror movie, and then it becomes a conspiracy film. It like does like a hard twist where basically the government comes in.
That's why you like it.
Yeah, I was like, of course the government's the bad guy.
Yeah, so they take this like kind of like early 90s cynical take on it, where like the movie is all of a sudden shifts to like a government conspiracy type thing. And it's kind of funny because like Jude kind of talked a little bit about how the Paul Taylor character, who's like the jock, he's like the quarterback and the town hero, and
Until he's not, yeah.
and he's the one who takes Shawnee Smith's Penny out on a date. And at first you think, oh, Paul's going to be the hero, he's going to be the main character in this movie because we spend a lot of time with him, and then like he just dies, and Chuck Russell was like, I want to do that because I want to shock the audience.
Yeah.
They basically Deep Blue Sea'd it on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Paul dies, and then you think Kevin Dillon's character, Brian Flagg, is the hero.
That's so crazy because like immediately when they said his last name, I was like, oh, just like Randall Flagg.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's supposed to be a bad guy.
Yeah. So like,
But he's not.
so like he's set up to be a bad guy, and then you think he's the hero, but then it turns out that Penny is actually the hero of this
Meg.
movie all along. Yeah, Meg Penny is her name, and so like it was kind of like a subversive thing that both Frank Darabont and the director Russell did for this movie, which is basically like make Shawnee Smith like the main character. And if you think about it, like she's really the one kind of driving the action throughout like the entire film. And the creature gore effects in this movie were next level, like really like on the level of John Carpenter's The Thing, which is why I think it's appropriate to kind of like ask, like, did John Carpenter have anything to do with this? And it's kind of funny because there are two scenes in this film that really stand out to me. And the first one is Paul's death. So like when Meg Penny kind of goes in and sees him for the first time, and he's sitting there, he's got like the thing on his face, he's like, he's reaching out for her. The story behind that was that Shawnee Smith didn't know what to expect because the director purposely kept her in the dark because he wanted to catch her reaction.
I love it when they do that. I love it when they do that. Yeah. Ridley Scott does that shit all the time. He did it for Aliens when they're like, nobody told him, oh, the chest burst is going to come out. They were all completely reacting. They were like, holy shit. Yeah, I freaking love it when directors do that shit.
And the funny thing is that the actor who played Paul, Donovan Leitch Jr., so like he was actually in that Blob, like that was him doing that performance. And they said that, like, I think they said in a commentary at some point down the line that what they essentially did was like they waterboarded the poor guy because they stretched that thing over his face and he's sitting there like, and then they're like, basically he couldn't breathe.
Yeah,
while that thing was over him.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's freaking whatever material that was made out of.
I feel like he was in another Stephen King movie. Was he in Christine?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
But the other thing that really stood out was the phone booth scene.
That was good.
Yeah, where basically Fran, the lady who runs the diner, she's in this phone booth, and the Blob is kind of enveloping it, and she's trying to call the police for help. And the sheriff, who we also think is going to be like a main player, like his body just gets pressed up against that phone booth, and he's like disintegrating as like he's up against it, and then when the Blob breaks in, it basically just like crashes in through
and crushes her, and all the glass comes in on her. Yeah, it was an awesome scene.
And the way they did that effect was basically they built like a 3-foot miniature of not only the phone booth but also like the actress, and they used these like powerful air cannons to just blow this thing in there. and the effect looks amazing. Like it looks really good. Like the special effects for this movie didn't seem dated to me at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, I think you could watch like The Thing and then go watch this movie. I feel like it's on the same level.
And I also feel like this movie is actually like really well written, and that's Frank Darabont's doing, I think, is because like, you know, he's a great writer. And because of that, like I remember when I was a kid and I watched this movie like a lot because it was on like HBO or like whatever. And it was just like a favorite of mine growing up because the horror was cool. I thought Kevin Dillon, like being like the bad boy with like the black leather jacket and the long hair, was really funny. But it was also funny because like the director insisted that both Kevin Dillon and Shawnee Smith wear hair extensions, so like that wasn't even their real hair for most of the movie.
Her hair's so bad; it's so mullety, and honestly, so is his.
But when I was a kid, I was like, oh, Shawnee Smith's so hot, you know, I was really into the movie because of her, and there's just a lot of stuff in this movie that works really well, at least until I feel like the government comes in and then it kind of gets like a little bit sidetracked.
It gets a little, it goes a little off the rails on that one because it gets to the point where it's so big that the townspeople can't handle it. And then they do the whole like fire truck thing with, I guess it's got like nitrogen in it, maybe?
No. It's a snow machine truck. So like it's basically like they're in a ski town.
Yeah.
And so like they use that truck to create snow to kind of like, you know, pad out the
but that's
the skiing.
That's not how snow machines work though.
It doesn't matter. It don't matter if it's alien.
Snow machines, the weather outside has to be cold, and then you shoot mist into the air, and then the mist turns into snow. It's just water. Like it's not like unless he has like a nitrogen cooled freaking.
He went a different way with it. He was chilling his beers.
But regardless, there's one scene in this film in particular that I want to call attention to, and that's the scene where Kevin Dillon does his motorcycle jump across that broken bridge.
At the very beginning.
No. At the beginning, he attempts to do it, but then like later on, he does it, but while being chased by both a car and a helicopter. And so like. You watch that scene and you think, oh, that's got to be a special effect, but they actually did that in camera, practical. Like everything in that shot actually happened. And when the stuntman jumped the bike and he hit the other side of the bridge, both tires on the motorcycle blew out.
Oh my God.
And the stuntman kept upright based off of the strength of his feet alone, because like he put his feet on the ground and kept him up there as the helicopter. Yeah, as the helicopter flew overhead and as like the car crashed behind him, and they got it in one take and they were like, perfect, print it. And I look at that shot and I'm just like, that's probably one of like the greatest stunt shots in history of film.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I love it, dude.
So another fun fact about this movie. So it was $19 million and $9 million of that dollars went to special effects. Like that was their effect budget.
It needed to.
And you got to give this movie, even if you didn't like it, you have to give it respect for the fact that like its special effects are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
creepy.
It was creepy. It made a blob freaking scary.
Yeah.
Right? Because like it's like on the roof and shit, and it has like tentacles that it like freaking spits at you, and it's like one of those freaking gooey things you throw
and
at
the
wall.
gruesomeness of the deaths are you're just like, I wouldn't want to be killed by this.
Because it's like acidic and it like eats you away.
And honestly, goo is scary.
Well, also the concept that Frank Darabont and the director Chuck Russell had for the Blob is basically it's an inside out stomach. So like, you know, the acids are on the outside and like it basically eats everything it touches and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. I had such a good
hobo
time.
at the beginning was like, ah!
Yeah.
And it's like because that thing is eating him. It's eating him. And he's just got this like fucking globe on his hand.
Yeah, he tried to chop off his hand because it went bad and he failed. He
did try to chop off his hand because it went bad.
Yeah, as soon as like he removed the blade, the blob just like went over the part to like keep him like attached to it.
God, it's so crazy. Yeah, I love this movie. I had such a great time with it. I don't remember if I'd seen it yet or not. I think this might be a first watch for me, but I was blown away. I was like, this freaking movie's awesome.
I'm so glad you liked at least one thing I made you watch this week. But okay, so the difference between this movie and Critters is like when the critters shoot you with their
little spines,
their little spine things, it numbs you at least. So like while they're eating you, you can't feel it. But with this, the blob is just like, feel everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when it like sucks people into like smaller areas to like drag them away.
God, yeah.
And they get like folded in half.
It sucked that guy into a drain.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice the one character who played like the deputy who hated Kevin Dillon was the toxic waste guy from RoboCop?
I did not.
Oh,
the dude
no.
who melts?
Yeah. So
That's
Paul,
awesome.
Paul McCrane, who was the dude who basically got melted by the toxic waste
That's
of
pretty
RoboCop,
funny.
was in this movie.
That's awesome. I also noticed Babe Ruth from Sandlot is in this movie. He was also in. He was a
yeah.
guard in War Games.
He was Shawnee Smith's dad, who was the pharmacist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And-
I
oh,
love the pharmacist.
Remember the freaking condom scene?
Yes!
Where they're like, "Do you want ribbed?" And
his
he's like,
asshole friend, like Scott fucking Jenkins or something, was like, "Hey, buy me some condoms because I'm gonna fuck this bitch." And he's like, "Here's some money. Go buy them for yourself." And like his priest or whatever is like, "Oh, hello, good young man," who's a fucking
"That dude's a
creep.
creep. Thank you."
Yes.
I
yes.
haven't seen you around Sunday service. I'm
Okay.
like, probably because you tried to molest him.
Immediately, don't you get like Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost
Oh, the
Ark,
dude with the burn on his hand.
Nazis? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you get those Nazi vibes
Yeah.
from that
Yes.
creature?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is so like that whole condom scene. It basically it was a story that actually happened to Chuck Russell when he was
I'm
in high school.
sure.
And so like he wanted to put that in the movie, and it's basically like this guy's best friend goes to buy condoms, and he's kind of bragging about to the pharmacist about how he's going
Look.
to get these condoms for his friend because his friend is going to bang a girl.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the girl is the pharmacist's daughter.
Yeah.
And
Who hasn't been there?
So when you grow up in a small town like I did, you don't go
100%. You have to make
Buy
up
that
those
stuff.
stories.
You don't go to the local store to buy
No,
condoms.
because the drug
or
guy.
you have to go with your friend and make up a story.
No, the cashiers at the grocery store, if you buy them there, or the pharmacist at the drugstore, if you buy them there, they all know everybody.
Yeah.
And if a kid goes in there and buys those things, your parents will
Yeah.
immediately
On the
know.
book for your mother.
It's like,
And when-
hey, little Johnny just bought some some ribbed condoms.
Yeah.
For,
So
they're gonna
I
go.
smoked a cigarette in the mall
Yeah.
in 1994. And my mother had a phone call by the time I got home from the mall.
Wow.
Yeah.
well, what's also funny is so like that best friend who gets the condoms. First of all, he's got a full bar in the trunk of his car. So-
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah,
I'm upset that I don't have
Second
that.
of all, the girl that he's like trying to basically date rape before date rape was a thing.
Erica Oleng.
She was the stripper
Olenkia?
from Under Siege.
Oh my God, no way.
She's the pale nipples.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I just do this? I just did this, huh?
The pale nipple chick. I do remember. I was like, her
for the
nipples.
audio only, I just touched my nipples a bunch.
We were watching that movie, and I think both of us were like, her nipples are the same color of her
Her
skin.
nipples were they were mesmerizing, and I'm sorry, it's not okay that he did this, but I understand why he did do the thing with the unbuttoning her blouse without her consent because they're amazing. They're amazing.
Well, he got it though. He got like,
Oh,
Yeah, he got what was coming.
well,
Yeah.
also like she died a pretty horrible death too.
Well, yeah, she was already dead. I mean,
oh, that's right. She like, her face was there, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And then her face like sinks.
yeah.
And like she shrivels into like the only thing left was her skin.
I think that his cocktailing probably muted the horror of her death.
Maybe.
So this is the one time that trying to date rape someone it worked.
Don't say that.
I'm not saying it's okay. It's definitely not okay. This is the one example of when this worked in the favor of the victim because she was going to die anyway by an outside alien.
Okay.
However, that happened. And then he comes in to try to date rape her. She's already dead. Therefore, everything that he does is already kind of muted by the fact that she's dead. And then the alien kills him, which is what he had coming.
Okay.
Yeah, and this was also a time before date rape was actually a thing. This was like
Yeah,
like
there
the
was no
80s.
term for it.
Yeah. But what's interesting is the Kevin Dillon character. So I remember being like so in awe of his character when I was a kid because I was like, oh yeah, he's such a bad boy. And you know, in the original Blob, Steve McQueen was like the main character.
Yeah.
Like he was the hero of that movie. And so like they tried to kind of like model Kevin Dillon's performance
So
off
in
of Steve McQueen.
1988, thought Kevin McQueen coolness like laterally transitioned to put a wig on Kevin Dillon, give him
a
a
bad boy.
cigarette.
Yeah, it's so funny because like we recently saw Kevin Dillon in No Escape or Escape from Absalom, however you want to pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we've seen him in a couple movies recently, and I just keep thinking about his role in Entourage, where he's just like the washed up brother who like scrounges for movie roles. And he's like victory.
Wonder what he's doing now.
I don't know. I just
Hanging out with Turtle.
He's actually got a podcast. It's called
Everybody
the
has a
Victory
podcast.
Podcast.
Everybody has a podcast. All right. Let's do final thoughts. Give this a rating.
There's a podcast that I listen to, and one of their t-shirts that they sell in their merch is, anyway, this podcast sucks. And I feel like I need it.
That's not a bad one. V, you've been quiet.
But I'm glad you guys like this movie because I've enjoyed listening to you.
You didn't
about
like the movie?
It was just really, I don't know.
So weird. I thought you'd be into it.
Sometimes these movies resonate with me. Sometimes they don't. I did like the death scene special effects when they're getting melted underneath the
pink blob stuff,
whatever the stuff is, and everything. But there was also scenes in this movie where I thought the special effects were terrible. Like when it's on the top of the street and it's just kind of like this foam latex bullshit flopping around. I'm just like, come on, just be better.
It's using the wrong tone.
Be better.
It's just. I don't know, man. It was just a weird movie. This is my least favorite movie of the week. It really is. I don't. Fuck you, Mr. 1-star clown guy.
Yeah, that movie
Half-star.
sucked.
That movie, of all the movies this week, that movie knew what it was the most, and I appreciated that for what it was. This movie, it wasn't scary. It had some cool special effects, but I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a campy movie or if it was trying to be a horror movie. And I think that's where it lost me because it really wasn't very good at being either one of those things. So I'm going to give this like two stars, I think.
Okay.
I think that's where I'm going to stick it because I'm at 2.5, 3. Yeah, that's fine. 2 stars. Kevin Dillon, whatever. Who cares? he doesn't really do much for me. And I don't know.
All right.
I liked it when it ate the movie theater. That was kind of cool.
Okay.
I like that scene where they're watching this Friday the 13th ripoff and like the guy shows up with the hockey mask and the weed trimmer and the guy's like, wait a minute, hockey season ended 3 months ago.
This movie's amazing. All right, Jude, what's your rating for this one?
Okay, so I have opinions upon my co-table side host. I will agree and disagree with several things. So I feel like this movie is campy and silly and also bad in its way. But that's kind of like what makes it what it's supposed to be. This was not my favorite of the week. I will agree with him that this was my least favorite of the week. However, these are all movies that I chose. And it is my least favorite only because the other two were so great for me. So I will give this 3 face melts out of 5. I still think it's exactly what it's supposed to be. I think it's and I love originals, and they are classics for a reason. However, I think that this took the classic, the original, and it just bumped up the camp and the horror. And it was exactly what it was supposed to be from that. Like, the original is not scary at all. Maybe in 1960 or whatever, this was something that you hadn't seen before. It was an alien and it was a blob and ooh. But like watching it now, it does not hold up at all. But watching this remake also doesn't hold up. But it has the camp factor that makes it enjoyable.
I've got so many movies on my list for retro rewatch. I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be such a great week when we do that.
I'm excited for our next one because I feel like up until now we've been like, oh, we'll just pick something, and now we're like, we have like
the original
a
Blob.
mission.
Yeah.
We have a mission. Yeah.
It's
so
gonna be great.
For me, this is 3 out of 5 face melts.
Excellent. Kadish, what's your rating?
So I really like this movie a lot. Frank Darabont's writing, Shawnee Smith being so attractive to a young Kadish. The whole like kind of Kevin Dillon bad boy thing, the death effects, the gruesomeness of like the kills, the special effects, everything about this movie just kind of like works. And I think every time I see this film, like I gain like a new appreciation for it, even though it's not something where I'm ever sitting around, I'm like, oh, I really want to watch the Blob from the 1980s. But when I do watch it, I'm thoroughly entertained by it. And it's just like, it's a well-made movie. It's very fun. It knows what it is, and it does what it does very well. And I got to give it, I don't know, 3 attempted date rapes out of 5. So
Jesus.
it's like pretty solid. Yeah.
Why am I with you?
You can't use that as a rating.
There was something else
I said attempted.
Well, that makes it better. I forgot to mention one thing. So in the beginning of the movie, when Kevin Dillon is talking to his like chief mechanical engineer or whatever, he's like, "Hey, my bike is broken down. Can I borrow your wrenches?"
Mhm.
And that guy's like, "There are 12 wrenches in that set. I better get all 12 of those wrenches back."
Yeah.
And then he sees the hobo running across like the street and hijinks. That guy didn't get any of his wrenches back.
Well, he actually had a line at the end where, like, you know, he was the owner of that snow machine truck, and he's like, "I wonder if I'm covered for this."
I hope you include those wrenches because you didn't get any of those.
I wanna
Kevin
know-
Dillon, you're a bad friend.
I want to know what kind of freaking snow machine that is, because obviously
Right?
that's a giant tank of nitrogen.
Didn't they say they had like 3 or 4 of those in the shop that they had to get running?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in time for ski sneeze
That's-
season.
That's insane.
Ski
I don't know.
sneezing?
Ski sneezing. Those-
I speak for the strees.
It's sneezing.
I speak for the sneeze.
Sneeze.
Star-covered sneeches. And
I'm gonna give this a solid 3-star movie for me. I had a blast with this. This is my favorite movie of the week. It's the one I had the most fun watching. It's actually the only one I watched more than
Yeah,
once.
I would agree with
Wow.
that. This is my favorite of the week, too.
Yeah, I watched the first movie and I was like, I don't need to see that again. I watched the second movie and I was like, I barely finished it. I was like, definitely not gonna watch that again. The Blob, I watched that shit twice.
You guys don't get me at all. I will marry one of you.
I had a blast with this one. It was a good movie. 3 stars easily. All right, that's it for the podcast. We had a good day today.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry, guys.
Guess what we're doing next week?
Yeah, that's a good question. What are we doing next week?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh!
Juggle
Yes, Jean-Claude Van Damme coming up. This is a tradition for us now. Every June we do one episode dedicated to
Till
the
we run
80s
out.
to the 80s action star Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's going to be a good time. Why
Till
do
we
you
get him on. And then every June, we're just going to have him come on.
we're never gonna get them on.
Yeah, I want to do Steven Seagal September sometime.
No.
Oh
hell no.
god. These movies are so bad.
We'll just watch The Siege every year.
Under Siege.
Hey, there's some YouTube channels that make an entire career talking about Steven Seagal movies. So
Yeah, it's true.
Are there enough of them? How many are there?
there are quite a few.
I mean, there's an Orphan Black podcast too.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys, that's it for the podcast. Thanks for joining us this
Join
week.
the Patreon.
Join
Talk
the
about
Patreon.
Orphan Black.
Matt, where can they find you and your salty ass on the internet, dude?
I'm not salty. I'm a nice
Bullshit. You have had
I'm
a
a
chip
nice
on your
guy.
shoulder all day.
Give me my wig.
Just growled at you.
guy. No, you can find me at MattVader74 on the Twitter, the YouTube, the Instagram, the social media places. So yeah.
Okay, Jude.
You can find me doing trivia with our club members at saltynerdclub.com once a month. You can join the Patreon and be a club member, and you can do trivia with us. I'll be hosting. You guys fight amongst yourselves.
I'm gonna win.
And also, I am Jude Juju at Twitter, or no, not Twitter. fuck Twitter. At I am Jude Juju on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay, just where can they find you on the socials?
You can find this heartbroken romantic over on Twitter at Matthew Kadish, Kadish.
Shit.
And, if you would be so kind as to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, we're trying to get 200 of those suckers so that we can get officially accredited on Rotten Tomatoes. We'd really appreciate it if you could help us out with that.
You can find him in Smith's buying wine for his alcoholic fiance. He's
All
like,
right.
what kind?
Red.
Only because I love you when you're drunk, which is all the time.
This is all the time.
This is when I'm at my best.
True. All right, guys. You can support the podcast any way you see fit. saltynerd.com or saltynerdclub.com. Whatever you want to do. If you want to support us, what we do here, and if you like what we do, figure out a way to help us out. We'd appreciate it. Spread the word. Let your friends know if you like this podcast. Word of mouth is a big thing.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Tune in next week. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme. We'll see you there. Stay salty.